4 of the We Talk series. We often hear change is the only constant, and we are seeing it up close and personal in our world of work today. In this world, HR and talent leaders are on their toes to remain prepared with strategies for workforce, talent, and business. This world brings us the opportunity to learn every day, and today is another such day with another expert. The VTalk series invites the most prominent HR leadership voices to share their amazing experiences and learnings on and around the HR ecosystem. So joining us today is Shilpa Tawte, Senior Vice President of Netcore Cloud. A brief introduction about Shilpa before we start. Shilpa is a result-oriented HR professional with several years of experience in leading large-scale and complex HR operations across various sectors like telecom, retail, and manufacturing. A seasoned leader with a track record of successfully delivering results in challenging environments, Shilpa is quite passionate about people and bringing a difference to the organization she works with. So, with this, a very warm welcome, Shilpa. It is indeed a delight to have you with us today.
Hello, how are you all? Nice to be a part of such an prominent and a good, session today.
So, Shilpa, looking forward to an insightful discussion today. And to start off with today's discussion, my first question for you would be, what strategies can be used to reduce the time to hire without sacrificing quality? Because this is something, a very pertinent topic that we keep on talking. So I would like to know what's your thought on that.
To be first of all, thank you for this question. And I surely would like to say that in current environment and in current hiring process where time is the only important thing that gets for us to ensure that we have the person on time, because everywhere the requirement is as of yesterday. So when we talk of time and at the same time the quality, it's very, very important for us to look at how do we think about getting the right fit, right time, and the best price. And when we talk about all these things, I think the most important way to look at it is how we can automate our systems, how we can get the digital platforms in. And that is one of the things that I feel, is the very, very in thing which has been happening for the last few years, but now it's more importantly growing well. People are looking at best places, best ATS to have in systems. And when you talk of ATSs, they should have something where it talks of getting you the salary benchmarkings, required skills at one place, ensuring that we get all resumes at one go. So right from pushing in the requirement till getting in the offer, it's something, if we have everything on one board, it surely makes things better for everybody in the system. So when you have the requirement there, you get all the CVs right from the references, job portals, everything at one go in the automated platform. We get the best CVs out of them which match your JDs there. Once that is done, it moves where interviewing gets better, because everything goes through ATS, right from your candidates, right from your hiring manager. So there's not to and fro checking on emails. So everything that can be curtailed and ensured that, you have the best results of what you get in one go. And that is where, overall digitizing the platform for hiring can be a valuable tool for HR professionals looking forward to reduce time to hire without sacrificing the quality. And that's what something is the need of the hour, and which will surely help more and more as we go along in the future.
Thank you, Shilpa, for beautifully articulating your thoughts over here. So, Shilpa, this kind of leads me to my next question. That we are talking about hard to retire and so many aspects of the entire hiring ecosystem. But one pertinent topic that keeps on coming back when we talk about right candidates is employer branding, because as we know that employer branding can actually make and break an organization. So if I may ask you that, what according to you, how do you think that building and maintaining a strong employer branding can help attract the right candidates? How would you put that?
When you talk of employer branding, it is again, as I said, very important for you to, make sure that you are there in the market. You are there in the market, looking at the right candidates, looking at the, candidates looking at you differently. Because when candidates look at you these days, they just don't look at you only for money. Okay, they look at you for what you pretend as your, as what are you looked at, how are your policies, your culture, your work environment, everything that is there, that is a requirement of the hour, for the candidate. Because I mean, these days you have Gen Z's or Gen Y's, whatever you call them, everybody is more keen about having a work life balance, because after COVID more, I think it's very important for people to talk about all these things. So when you talk about it, like, what culture do I want to present, what kind of work ethics I want to do I give a work life balance to my employees, and all these put together, when you create a very, very, what do you call, spongible culture, people surely would come back to you. What kind of engagements that I do with my employees, what kind of other aspects that you look out for. Engagement is very important, because still I don't have that engagement. And when I talk engagement, is not only the engagement with the employees, engagement with the outer world. How are you looked up at LinkedIn? Are you are you look are we looked at a best employer there? I mean, what is the value culture that you have? So these kind of things, I mean, how are you looked in the market? I mean, even the marketing events that happen, maybe they are hash outs, they are events. I mean, those kind of things that you explore across, in the LinkedIn arena, that is also important. So everything put together, what your current employees sitting in the organization are talking about you. I mean, are you having a very strong reference system? All these referencing, because when you have a happy employee, there is a happy reference that comes in. So that is also a kind of employer branding. So when I talk of employer branding, there are various things, these days people look out for. So gone are the days when people used to say, oh, this company pays well, this is where I want to go. Now they look at, is it giving me a work life balance? Do I get time for my family? Do I get time for my, hobbies? And then do I get a very good training and development out there? So these are all things. I mean, what is there in for me is something what is total employer branding these days that people look out for. And I think at Netcore, we are sure, we are ensuring that we are talking and doing a lot in the development area, learning in, we are doing employee growth, employee development, then, being a part of a lot of events, making sure we are engaging with the right people that we want us, to have. So all these put out together is something which is more of an employer branding as a whole for me.
Very rightly mentioned, and you indeed touched upon a very important point that it's no more restricted to a salary structure. Rather, it has become a very holistic approach when we talk about employer branding as a whole. So, Shilpa, like you have mentioned a couple of points when it comes to employer branding, and one particular aspect that has been coming up and again in all sorts of discussion is the learning and development part. And
Mhm.
this becomes way more crucial when we especially talk about the new generation that has been entering the workforce.
Yeah.
So, how to develop and implement an employee development program that especially resonate with the new generation's desire for the continuous learning and development process.
Yeah. So you said it right. I mean, nowadays, when you say the new generation, I mean, uh, I call myself also new generation, to be very precise, because I like learning. So when we talk about learning, now the learning is not restricted to only doing some classroom trainings. Gone are the days when people wanted to, just do 2, 3 trainings a year and, like, oh, I'm developing my folks. Those days are gone. Now, when you talk of Gen Z or any other, kind of folks that we have as our employees or even our partners or everybody wants, different way of continuous growing, continuous learning, continuous development. And, that life, that encouragement of growth mindset that is there is very important in an organization these days for them to grow equally well. Because if your employee grows and, has a developed and an aspect of doing a lot of things differently, then it's only when your organization will grow. So that is very important for you to have the value of continuous feedbacks there. You need to ensure that you give them a lot of opportunities for growth. And with that, you ensure that you give them lot of training, lot of personal growth, and it's not very restricted, as I said. So now people like to go, go through technology, they look for social media, collaboration with peers. So everything that you do today is, is a learning and a development part. So continuous learning, which we say, even when I'm talking to you now, maybe I'm learning something. So people look at it this way these days, and for that, every aspect of your day-to-day activity becomes a learning and development, for that. But with Netcore, we also have a lot of, continuous programs that we learn, so we leverage technology based learning platforms such as LinkedIn, which is a very, very major thing that we are currently doing. We have a lot of licenses that we have, given to the people who are, of course, our hypos, which are the high potential candidates, plus people who are really looking forward to grow, upskill, cross skill. So, we are just looking forward to ensure that we develop a culture of growth, a culture of learning. And when that happens, it helps people to think differently as an organization. We are also pushing across where we are thinking that, most of the companies have always done it, and we are also doing it, that we also put a certain part of your learning and development as your KRAs, that is a key result area. So you need to do certain amount of training every year to ensure that you are, abreast with the current technologies that we need, or current, skills that we need, current any kind of behavioral skills that you need. So, for example, somebody is wanting to be a project manager, or want to become some kind of, another cross skilling thing. So we ensure that we give that platforms to them. And I think that is where people will stay. So when you say, in last question you asked me, employer branding, I think learning is a very important aspect of these days employer branding. If you are not an organization which, helps people learn, grow, develop, people might not want to join you, because salary, as I said, just doesn't work, because salary you can give me at the entry, but for me to grow there, if I don't have learning, I will never grow on salary. So everything is interconnected. And I think that's where, learning and development becomes a very, very important part. And for Gen Z, 101%.
Perfect, perfectly mentioned. So, Shilpa, like we have talked about this employer branding, we have talked about learning and development. But what ultimately boils down to is like, as we can understand that, organizations are making a lot many efforts for their overall growth, and at the same time ensuring that, employees also have a very growth mindset. But this kind of comes into action when the proper feedback is into place. So I would like to know that, according to you, how can opportunities be created for employees to provide feedback and feel heard? And most importantly, how can this feedback be further utilized to improve the overall workplace scenario?
So I know I agree to you, and this is a very important aspect of HR as a whole, because if you don't hear from your employees, if you don't hear from your partners, your clients, anybody for that matter of fact, you would not be able to implement those kind of changes. Or see, everybody thinks we are the best, but within the best also you can be the bestest, and and you can always ensure that these kind of things will surely be looked upon as one of the organizations which are very progressive, because progressive organizations always believe in taking feedback, giving feedback, working around the feedback. So we have a lot of, we have established a feedback mechanism that includes listening out to grievances, working with managers to improve workplace issues. So we have dedicated HR representative for different business verticals who are available to listen to the employees and, hear them out, give them suggestions if possible, which can be very tactical and can be taken care very quickly. If there are something that needs a lot of more interventions, maybe from the senior leaders, from the HR heads, then they are got back to the table, and then we go through the entire feedback and grievances to ensure that, we come up with some solutions. And most of us also, we look forward to, if this is something which maybe a HR representative is doing, but at a global level, at an org level completely, we have also the automated, grievance system. We have an Amber system which takes feedback from everybody, where there is any issue, anything that you want to convey to anybody in the organization. So we ensure that, that is being put in amber and it reaches the right representatives. We take the entire download. If there is anything that we need to revert back there, we do it there. If it's something that we need to take up, work around it, make some kind of, changes, and then present it back to the required person or the required vertical, or maybe some, so all these things are there where we have ensured, that we have a very, very open mechanism to give feedbacks without being, anywhere they having a feeling, oh, what if I'm giving a feedback, things go wrong. So we have kept these feedbacks which are, which are very clearly and anonymously put across. So, you don't need to worry that if I'm giving a feedback, if things go wrong, what will happen to me. So though it's not like that, but people have that fear in you. So we also have a very open door policy kind of a system, where people can walk down to any senior leadership, be it the CHRO, the CEO, even anybody at, all their leadership levels, where people can walk in and, give their open feedback. Oh, this is something I think we should change, or this is something which needs improvement, or this is something where I feel, I have my grievances. So I think overall, whatever culture Netcore has, I mean, it's a very, very open culture. And I mean, I'm been here for last 1 year, and I've really experienced it that if you feel it, you say it, and you will see an action there. That's what it is.
Perfect. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us. And that kind of wraps up our conversation for today. I need not mention that it was really a delight listening to your thoughts and advice, Shilpa. And for our audiences who have joined us today, I would like to thank once again for joining us and being with us today. We will be back with yet another exciting conversation very soon. So till then, keep talking, everyone.